welcome to my, which I'm not going to complain about that. That's fun. But I was traveling again, and I'm just now feeling like a normal person after the jet lag and time change and all of that. So I know a lot of you have been tweeting me and messaging me and leaving comments on my channel asking for my thoughts on 13 Reasons Why, and I still want to do like a sit-down video, but I also really wanted to talk to you guys with this format because I like to see what your thoughts are about it. So if you are in the room, let me know. I will wait a little bit to see who is here so that we can start the conversation. But I was actually talking to Jay Ivy on Twitter right now at the same time. We were talking about this, and she's reminding me that, yes, there is going to be a season 3, and I do want to share with you my thoughts on season 3, on having a season 3 of this show. Hello, is it, I'm going to try to say your name, and I don't know how to say it, so is it Otaku? Let me know if I'm saying that right. Thank you for being here. Let me know your thoughts on this season. Let me tell her to come over. I'm trying to recruit people from Twitter. Anyway, also something else that's even more like, well, I mean, I think it's to be expected that we were going to have a season 3, but I've also heard that Catherine, the girl who plays Hannah, is not going to be in season 3, which to me is bizarre. Although, yes, she's dead, so do we really need her in a 3rd season? I have a lot of mixed thoughts on season 3, and I think I'm going to save a lot of that for my video. Yes, I have been away. Reese, thank you for being here. Hi, Jake. Thank you so much for being here. This has been a crazy year for me. I made a couple of, well, actually, there were live chats, probably the last things on my channel, explaining what's been going on with me, why I haven't been on a good schedule here. I have been traveling a lot, but there's been other things happening. So again, I apologize. I want to be here more. I'm trying to be here as much as I can, and I just haven't been on a consistent schedule, and I apologize because there's so much coming up, like How to Get Away with Murder, but American Horror Story and all that. But you're here for 13 Reasons Why, so I'm going to focus on that. So right after we're done here, I'm going to make myself sit down and film a video about my thoughts on season 3, and also I'll give my thoughts on season 2 because I know some people won't click on this because they're like, oh, it's like a big chat and I don't want to sit through that unless I'm there live, so I totally get that. Hi, Harley. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jake. I miss doing them. I love these kind of things so much. So I don't even know where to begin. I will start off with this season. I thought got off to kind of a slow start, and I usually watch stuff like this at night before bed, so I was kind of tired anyway. And there was many nights that I was stuck on like the 1st and 2nd episode. I would just fall asleep during them. Hi, Ralph. Hi, Tiago. I would fall asleep during them, and I don't really know how much of that is the fault of the show. Thank you, Tiago. I missed you too. Or really, I think I was just more than anything tired. But it definitely picked up, and my overall impression of the season was good, and I did like it. Hi, Alexa. Hi, Callie. Thank you guys for being here. So, here's the thing. I know that the book...
I don't know
Oh my gosh, Alexa's talking to me. Oh, because that is hilarious. My Alexa, my Amazon Alexa, is talking to me because I was talking to Alexa here in the chat. Hilarious. Hi, Luke. Thank you so much for being here. It's making her go crazy because I keep saying her name. No, I'm not talking to you. Anyway, so basically, oh my God. So Jake is asking about the bathroom scene. Everything with Tyler to me is very sad. Very sad. And I was incredibly sad or scared about the final episode because so many people were tweeting me, and I kept accidentally seeing things on Instagram and Twitter about the end. And I thought we were going to have like a massacre at school. And I was literally, my heart was racing through that entire episode, like building up to that, because they had been hinting around ever since last season about Tyler shooting up the school, basically. And I say that, you know, with no disrespect, but that's basically what they were hinting at. And I was really nervous because I don't like those kind of things. Those things make me so nervous. You guys, if you've watched American Horror Story, there was a school shooting scene way back in the day from the 1st season that still haunts me. Still haunts me. And I wasn't really going to be ready to see that again. I really can't take it. That makes me, I'm terrified of those types of things, school shootings or shootings in mass places. And I was very nervous with that. So I was so happy. I thought that was such a win for everyone that he was talked out of it. And I don't know, I mean, obviously we're going to have issues next season, but I obviously think his idea to shoot people at school is terrible, but I don't think he was going to do it because he has an evil heart or he's a dark soul or whatever. However, he did kill that bird, and a lot of times people start out killing animals and then move on to people. So that's not a good sign. But really, he was just so mistreated and misunderstood forever that I really felt a lot of compassion for him. And I do think some school shooters are just straight to the core evil, and I don't think any amount of compassion or kindness can stop those people who've done this in real life. I really don't. But I think with him, yes, it could have stopped him, and yes, what happened to him in the bathroom was, to me, I don't know why so many people were saying like the very end of the episode, the very end of the season was so difficult to watch. To me, that bathroom scene was right on par with Hannah committing suicide and sitting through that. Terrible, okay? Some more thoughts. I know, see, like, okay, basically this was a book that ended with everything that ended in season 1, so everything we're seeing after that is added. So I honestly felt like some of the stuff felt added. So when Ralph was asking me about Hannah and Zach's relationship, that felt weird to me, and I almost felt like it didn't even really fit. I mean, with her reactions about hooking up for the first time, why am I not able to think of the main guy's name? I'm crazy. I can't think of his name. The main guy in this show, the guy that is on the thumbnail for this video. Anyway, you know, her reactions to that were like someone who'd never had sex before. You know, she was very timid and everything. But we're supposed to believe she'd been having sex forever with Zach and what? Clay. Thank you, Solomon. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that. I thought that they were really cute together, and it wasn't that their relationship didn't make sense. Of course, I always wanted her to be with Clay, and I was just like, I just felt like it felt very added, and I would have said that it felt out of place even if it had been planned the whole time, and we know it wasn't planned because the author of the book never put that relationship in. So I felt like a lot of the things that were added in order to have a second season felt added in. Something else that really disturbed me so much was the fact that Hannah's parents not only had gotten a divorce since she killed herself and all of this terrible stuff, but the fact that he had been cheating on her mom, and all of that obviously was added in, and I felt was literally, can this woman go through anything else? Do we need to have a cheating husband in here? And the fact that this was going on while Hannah was alive and may have contributed to her mental state? No, like that was just, why did her dad become like an ass? Like, why was he a terrible person? To me, he was just like I thought he was an okay guy and he turned into this awful person. So I didn't like that either. Something I really loved about this season that changed my mind about a character was the counselor's transformation. I was really mad at the counselor. Season 1, I thought, oh my God, like he did a lot of things wrong. And the truth was, yes, he did a lot of things wrong, but he owned up to that and he realized it. And when he was on the stand crying, like my heart was with him. I was like, this is the whole real. It's still such a real show. Everyone in here, I'm sure, has gone to high school or is in high school, and I feel like it's real. I mean, I hope that the bullying and all of the stuff that happened in this isn't, although I feel like it kind of, I mean, I just feel like it is real. I hope it's not to the level that people are killing themselves, but you know, I think it may be some places. But like, I love Courtney. I loved Bryce's girlfriend. I thought she was a really good addition. I really enjoyed the new cast members. I loved Tyler's friend and his sister. Sometimes with shows like this, when they throw in new people after the cast is so great, it doesn't work. But Courtney, I thought, was the perfectly cast girl for that girl that just looks like a popular person, the girl that people aspire to be, and the girl that would stay with someone who was a rapist, okay? I'm going to try to give some of your comments. I can't quit talking because it's just like I have so many thoughts about this. I think the guy who plays Bryce is hands down, like, he needs an Oscar. I know you can't get an Oscar for Netflix, but I swear to God I went to school with people who acted like him. Now, I'm not saying that they were raping people, but with he has it all down so good that I would have trouble in real life wondering, like, is he really Does he really act like this? I'm not talking about the raping people part, but the part of the cockiness and the rich boy and all of that. Like, he owned that role. And he is a terrible person. And that is a terrible character. But that guy killed it. I mean, is he any more convincing? Honestly, everyone does such a good job. Like, every single person, to me, is excellent in this series. I don't feel like usually in shows, there's like a weak link, or there's like, because everyone in this show is not a star. Everyone doesn't have a huge role. Some people have, kind of small roles, but every single person is to me, it's one of the realest shows that I have ever seen, and the realest people. Okay, I'm going to get to more of your comments. So Solomon says, Mr. Porter and Zach were the highlights of season 2 for you. I am so happy the actor who plays Zach left Riverdale for this. You guys know I don't watch Riverdale anymore, and I'm not trying to really hate on Riverdale, but I just feel like this role for him is the role, and I think that will take him more places than the role he had, which was kind of a small role on Riverdale. And he was just a star of this season because they added in this relationship that he supposedly had with Hannah. And, he redeemed himself a lot too. Yes, Catherine Langford is leaving. I mentioned this at the very beginning. There was like one person in the room, but Catherine Langford, who plays Hannah, is leaving the series. So I have many, many thoughts on a season 3 of this, and I want to just do a sit-down video for that. Hi, Show. Thank you so much for being here. Ralph says in real life, Mr. Porter could sue the school for firing him for telling the truth in court. Right. And the other thing about that is that the principal and that stupid baseball coach are just total jerks, and they made me so, so mad. So mad. Jake says you really came to love all the characters this season besides Bryce and Marcus. Yeah, so Marcus was like this guy that wanted everyone to think he was just like a really good guy and like a little angel, and he wasn't, And Sky, Vanessa's glad she got help. Sky ended up, I had issues personally with Sky's relationship with Clay only because I want him with Hannah. I know he can't be with Hannah, but it was even funny, like, kind of, he felt guilt for it even though she's not alive. And, like, I felt like Hannah's ghost was jealous or whatever. Hi, Mish. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm glad she got help, but I felt like, honestly, I kind of felt jealous. So I was like, I don't want you with Clay. Like, that is wrong because, Hannah's dead and it's just a show and everything. But it's just, I don't know. She bothered me. She really bothered me. And like, she was kind of a big part of the first few episodes, and I was just like, I can't take this relationship through all of the season, and thankfully she went away. But she went away for a good reason, So, Chloe's pregnant. Alexa's wondering what's going to happen now. I won't mention this in the chat, but I was doing some reading about the show, which I'll usually do that after I complete a season because I'm afraid to Google. Sometimes I have like questions about the new people added or whatever, and I don't want to Google it because a lot of times you Google one thing and it tells you the ending, and it's my fault for Googling. But there's some talk among the cast members about what they're going to do with that situation, and I'm not going to talk about it. I see some stuff in the comments. I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a spoiler because I went in search of it. So if you want to find out what they may do with that situation, if you just do some Googling, you'll find it. Otaku says you hope that Justin can be happy. Justin comes from such a sad situation. That's something I think we all realized last season, and I feel really, really, really bad for him. I was happy. I've kind of forgotten their names because I haven't watched this in a week. What is the name of the girl he's like in love with? Okay, so I was happy that they hooked up, but I felt terrible at the same time because I know that they really love each other. And I feel like they kind of belong together. But I also feel bad for her whole situation because she has a boyfriend. Okay, Ralph wants to talk about Westworld. I know. So I'm caught up on Westworld as well. And Jessica, I caught up on Westworld and I really liked the last episode. I thought that was probably one of the best ones they've done. But I'm going to save that because I know people get annoyed because they'll click on this video and they're like, I don't even watch Westworld. Why is she talking about Westworld? I do feel bad for Alex. So here's the thing. What she did hooking up with Justin in the locker room was wrong. 100% wrong. I feel like I was doing a live chat about some other show about cheating. Oh, How to Get Away with Murder. And people got really mad at me because I was like happy that somebody hooked up with somebody, but it was like, but cheating's cheating. I don't know. It's so convoluted. It's about Laurel, if you watch that show. Anyway, cheating is cheating. I don't condone cheating. But I feel like Jessica and Justin are truly in love, and I don't feel like Alex and Jessica are, like, meant to be. At the same time, you don't do that to people, you know. You don't do that to people until you break up with them, and it's wrong. Alex has been through so much. He does not need this. He's probably going to find out in season 3. That's really the last thing he needs. He's trying to get over what happened to him, what he did to himself. He's trying to become a stronger, more confident person. He doesn't need that. That is going to be really, really, really bad for him. And I hate that. I really hate that. I think, gosh, like Tyler, I feel like Tyler is going to go, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like Tyler's going to go to jail. But what scared me at the end of the episode, I mean, I feel like Clay's going to be in trouble because he's like, he's kind of protecting a criminal in a way. But I really felt like Clay grabbed the gun and I was like, the police, I was terrified that the police were going to come up and start shooting him and like kill him or something because he had the gun. But he only had the gun because he was pulling it away from Tyler. But was anyone else scared about that? I was so scared. So scared. Yes, there's definitely a bromance between Alex and Zach. For a minute, I was like, I didn't know if they were going to hook up. I thought for a little bit like somebody liked each other more. Like I thought maybe Alex kind of liked him more than a friend. I didn't know if we were going there. We didn't go there. But I don't know. I kind of had those feelings. Ralph says, problem with Justin is despite his poor childhood and heroin problem, no excuse for his choices as a young adult. Right. So we can't excuse anything that he's done as an adult. He's a big boy. He can make his own choices. And, you know, everyone has had something happen in their lives that's not great. Everyone has had struggles. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. We may not have the same type of struggles that Justin has had, but we can't go through life saying, you know, my parents were crazy or my parents were drug addicts. So, you know, we can't be like 50 years old and being like, I'm going to go kill somebody because my parents were messed up. So it does shape you as a person and you do feel sympathy for somebody who's been through that kind of stuff, but you cannot create the rest of your life based on that and throw your life away because you had a crappy upbringing, you know? Vanessa says, you think if Jessica tells Justin that it was a mistake, he might start doing worse and might die. I don't know. This whole situation is bad. Like, I kept wondering if Justin was going to OD. And, I mean, that's scary to me, but it's scary to me what Alex is going to do when he finds out. I'm very concerned for all of that. Did we need a season 2? I don't think so. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, because I love the characters. Jonathan says it's not as good as season 1. I agree with you on that. Season 1 was just special, but I really did like season 2. Do we need a season 3? I'm going to do a video on that. Alexis says, do I think Olivia will come back? That conversation with her and Clay was so emotional when she said bye. You had a feeling that was a goodbye from her. Well, after I watched that finale, and then I heard Catherine, who plays Hannah, wasn't coming back, I feel like Kate Walsh won't come back to the show. That's my thoughts. And I also know that when people start leaving shows, and maybe this was something that Netflix wanted. I don't know. I felt like it was, you know, kind of Catherine Langford's idea to leave the show. But maybe they were thinking they didn't need her in season 3. But, you know, when people who are kind of like the main stars of the show start leaving the show, sometimes the show cannot carry on the same way. And I'm kind of wondering how many seasons of this show are we going to have. Solomon's asking, how do I feel about Ghost Hannah? I mean, I was okay with it. I think it was fine. I think it would have been kind of weird to not have her presence there. We didn't have to have a Ghost Hannah. We could have had just flashbacks, I guess, but I didn't have a problem with it. Ralph says Clay was selfish again by him grabbing the gun. He basically made the choice for everyone, saying that it's okay, Tyler, you can go. I mean, I was glad that he talked him out of the shooting, obviously. I think he could have handled it better. I think he was trying to handle it like the best that he could. But as far as getting him away from the scene and providing him like a getaway and everything, well, I think that's going to cause him to have a lot of criminal issues at this point. Kate is a big star. Kate Walsh, you know, I've never watched Grey's Anatomy, but I believe she's still on there, or she was on there. She's a big star, a big name for that show. Not that it really needs that, so it'll be interesting. I mean, can we carry on without her and Hannah's dad? I mean, yeah, But I'm still wondering really what we're doing with the third season. Ralph says, Ghost Hannah makes you feel that Clay might secretly have mental issues. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much. I guess he was talking to her, obviously, and people would see him talking to thin air, you know. So it's interesting. I think they just try to figure out a way to incorporate her because the author of the book never intended on a second season or a sequel to his book. So, Jonathan thinks that Bryce, the actor who plays Bryce, is so good. He is really, really, I mean, he's great. He's incredible. Ralph says Tyler needs to be detained and get proper help. Tyler on the loose might end up hurting someone. I felt really bad for him because I think he was really sincere. He went away for like some, I don't know, some kind of program to help troubled teens or whatever. And I feel like he was really sincere when he came back and he was able to deal with the incident that happened with him and the girl the sister of his friend who he really liked, and she'd already moved on and was dating someone, and he seemed to handle that really well. So he needs a lot of help, and everyone's lucky that he didn't go in there and kill people or kill himself or have himself killed, you know. I don't know what is happening. I'm hoping that the police will catch up with him very soon in the third season and arrest him. Instead of him on the loose doing crazy things, but I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking, is that they'll find him quickly and arrest him and we'll get him in a safe place. Luke says the show should end after season 3. No need to start dragging the show. I'm really surprised that they announced a season 3 so quickly because I'm just shocked. I just don't know where we're going with that, but I also think that it's so wildly popular they want to cash in on that. And I also think that sometimes when stuff is super popular and you just keep throwing more stuff out there, that's not always the best thing. And sometimes it hurts the intentions of the original, like other shows that I have watched. There's other shows that I have watched that ended up going on for seasons and seasons and seasons, and it just declined because it should never have been that long. And that's what I'm wondering about this show and where we're going and why we're continuing and do we need to continue. But I knew when it ended that it was cliffhanger-ish with Chloe being pregnant and Justin and Jessica hooking up and obviously the incident at the end with Tyler. I was like, you know, this is going to be a third season. Ralph says Hannah being the bully at her old school makes all the sympathy you had for Hannah gone. That was another part that shocked me and really bothered me because we all know this was not in the original story. I feel like the things that got added into this new story were all really terrible and upsetting. I was already super upset with season 1. I was already so upset to watch someone slit their wrists in a bathtub. I literally bawled watching that, you know? And then, like Ralph was saying, to hear that she bullied someone, and I guess the ghost of her said she did it to fit in or whatever, is weird. It was weird. It was shocking in a very bad way. I don't know. I think if any of you have ever been bullied, you wouldn't bully someone else, or I think it's rare that someone who is a bully turns into the person being bullied, or vice versa. I just think that's really bizarre. Solomon says the show is becoming more about the controversy rather than the story. Jonathan thinks this is the end of the Hannah storyline with her, I guess it's her mom moving to New York. I guess her dad is staying in the area with that new woman. I don't know. But I do feel like we're going to kind of drop the Hannah story for season 3. And I guess it's okay because, again, she's dead. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but we know she is. How much more can we do, you know, deal with all of this? We've already had the court case and everything, which didn't end the way that I would hope. And especially with Bryce's situation in his case, that really upset me. Alexis says, what about the sex chatting Hannah had in the premiere, if I remember that detail? Are you talking about the first season or the second season? Give me some more info on that because it's not clicking with me yet. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really liked it. I was, like, so determined to finish it quickly. I finished it probably less quickly than a lot of you. Like, I probably finished it in a week. But I was mostly concerned about being spoiled. I saw so much stuff about the final episode, about how all this crazy stuff was going down. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die if I see that accidentally on social media about what happens in the finale. I was like, I have to finish this. But overall, I did like it. Again, I think that the people involved and the actors and everything are so incredible. and so realistic. Ralph says, no way Tyler got out of the bathroom without anyone seeing him. His and the bully's DNA is all over that mop handle, and no way Tyler would walk right. And blood, right? The mop, blood. I'm sure the blood wasn't just on the handle, but all over the floor. Very disgusting, very terrible. Something else I found odd, I think that happened during school hours. I feel like there would have been a lot of noise from that situation. I could be wrong and it happened after school hours, but I can imagine that he was screaming and they were making a lot of noise, and just the act of this being loud and the fact that no one else walked into the bathroom, unless I'm wrong and this happened like after school and nobody was in the school, but nobody else happened to walk into the bathroom. No one, you know, I feel like any kind of public bathroom, even if we're not at a school, if something like that's going down, if you're walking outside, you're going to hear some weirdness and be concerned, especially, you know, if you're a teacher or a faculty member, or not even that. If you're if you heard that, I would be freaked out. I would probably go to the office or something. Luke says, unfortunately, you were slacking on this season and ended up getting spoiled in big stuff, including the ending. That's the worst. Believe me, I've been there with other shows, and it makes it hard to even finish it because you're like, why? I already know what happens. It's so disappointing. I'm sorry for you, though. That sucks. Jake says you think season 3 is a good idea. It'll give it a place where it can deal with other issues and have more of a focus on other characters, even though you love Catherine. She is good. She's really good. You do want more. Solomon says, does anyone else think that the show is more graphic than it needs to be? That scene and then the Hannah killing herself scene were, they were so hard to watch. I think part of the, part of the thing behind that is the show wants to be super edgy. And I guess I'm okay with that, but God, some of this stuff. Ralph says school nowadays are on point with security, hall walkers, and lockdown. I do find that whole bathroom scene very unbelievable. I think it could only happen that way if you're at if you're there for after school things, or you're there when you're not supposed to be there. And I felt like that took place during a regular school day. So I could only hope that that could not actually happen in a school during the regular school day. And it just seems really unbelievable. Alexis says, why do season finales have to be so depressing? Yeah, well, definitely with this show. But it's just kind of like that. This show doesn't really have a lot of happy endings or happy resolutions. And there was just so much more depressing stuff, like I said, that they added in this season that I was just like, no, don't do this to me. Like, they twisted what we thought was the truth, which I guess I never assumed would happen in a second season. I never thought they would go back and add to the backstories and tell us things that we didn't know. But it still bothered me because in my mind I was like, this stuff did not happen because in the book it didn't happen. So you're just adding it. So I think that bothered me more than if it had been a show that we knew they had planned all along to reveal these things that had happened. But that's not true. Do I think Tyler will get justice next season for his sexual assault? I really hope so. I really hope so. I don't know. It seems like the principal doesn't really give a crap about anyone, so I hope. Again, I don't know. Maybe he can talk about that when he's being questioned about why he brought the guns to school and what he was going to do and everything. Luke says, when everyone was getting messages and being threatened, were you the only one getting A vibes? Yes, Pretty Little Liar, A vibes. Yeah. Oh my God. I feel like the crap that goes down in this show is way worse than A ever was. But I guess maybe A killed some people, so I don't know. Ralph says Tyler is busted regardless. His car has guns and pipe bombs in the trunk and credit card statements from buying guns online. It made me nervous, like, basically in all the episodes where he was, like, glorifying guns and, like, going to the shooting range. And especially when he killed that bird for no reason. I was like, this is not going to be good. This is not going to end up well. It was making me really nervous. Again, I have a huge phobia of, and who doesn't, just because it happens so often, of being in a public place like a school or a concert or something and having a mass shooter. That's one of the biggest fears that I have. Like, who doesn't have that fear, I guess, now? Sadly. So sad. So sad. But I don't like watching that play out. And I love horror movies and horror shows, and I watch all kinds of crazy stuff, as you guys know. But that to me is one of the most terrifying things that they could show, they could put in a show. It really is terrifying. And to me, the most terrifying situation that I've seen on TV involving that was American Horror Story first season. Absolutely terrifying. If you've seen it, Solomon says, after tapes and Polaroids, what is the next vintage thing this show will use? Actually, that's a really good question. I don't know. Cassette tapes and Polaroids looks like we're kind of like focused on stuff people use in the 70s or maybe the 80s, I guess. So, what else would people have in the 80s? I don't know. That's funny, though. Really funny, because they've definitely had those two distinct themes these last 2 seasons. I've never seen The Handmaid's Tale, so I don't get the reference, Alexa, but I know everyone loves The Handmaid's Tale. Vanessa says, do I think Clay...
I'm not sure.
My Alexa's talking to me again, sorry. Do I think Clay will tell his parents that he got beat up in the locker room by Montgomery and the other jocks? I don't know. He's always getting into some trouble. Really not his fault, but he's always getting beat up. So, yeah, I don't know. There's so much of the stuff that goes on, and then people don't say anything, and people wait a while and then come out with it, so I don't know. Jake really wants to know what will happen with Chloe and Bryce. I really am into that, too, even though... this is something that I feel like we need to have done is something goes wrong for Bryce. Like, how does he keep getting away with everything in 2 seasons now? Can we please have him suffer some consequences in season 3? Because that would make the season worth it for me. But this guy is like the worst guy, worst person in the world. Is he not? He makes my skin absolutely crawl. I can't deal with him. I know everyone feels the same about him, but I really need something to happen to him because I can't stand him always getting away with everything, you know? Ralph says the principal and school board would be ultimately held accountable for all events that went down. Massive lawsuits, school would probably be shut down. I really cannot stand the principal. I need to see him fired. I want that coach to be fired, you know? Bad people. But, you know... You guys probably know, no matter if it's a school situation or a work situation, when I used to work in a place where I had to go, I'm not going to get real specific, but, you know, a couple places that I had to work where I had to go every day and deal with people. Some of the people who were the managers were, like, not good people, okay? And then in the past few years, some of the stuff they have done has caught up with them. Some of the stuff was illegal, you know? It's stuff that people knew. And it kind of reminded me of this show. Like, even in schools, you have some teachers... I won't get specific on this, but I had a teacher doing illegal stuff and people knew about it when I was in high school. And it took a long time, but it caught up with this person. So I like to believe that these kind of things going on in this show will catch up to people eventually. And again, I think that's another way that this show is so real because there are people who are not good people in situations throughout life, whether at your job or in your school. And sometimes you're just like, what the heck? How can they keep getting away with this stuff? And I do think it catches up to people. Ralph says, you think Mr. Porter will be Bryce's downfall. Mr. Porter will probably get a job at Bryce's new school. So, yeah, interesting. We know Bryce is transferring to get away from the drama, but he's still going to be playing, like, against the school that everyone goes to, like in sports and stuff. So, hilarious. I really would think that would be a great twist to have Mr. Porter, who knows Bryce is a terrible person, to be Bryce's guidance counselor. That's really funny. Alexis says it would be great if Hannah's friend Kat came back. Are you talking about the girl from like the very beginning from like season 1? That was like her best friend. Solomon says Mr. Porter shoving Bryce against the wall was so satisfying. Yes. Could we please get something, you know, pay back Bryce? Like, please let that be the theme of season 3. Nobody needs to be paid back worse than him, even though I don't like the principal and I don't like the baseball coach. I need like justice. Like, how many people does Bryce have to assault, rape, screw over, and keep it, I mean, before he gets caught, before he gets, you know, before he has to be paid back for this? It's just, but I feel like it's real. I feel like, you know, they kind of made the correlation, like people who have money can make things go away, and I think that is true. Ugh. Jake says you're really mad about Bryce only getting 3 months. I'm really, really mad about that. But the actors have said that's what really happens in real life. I agree, sadly. So you do like how real and how much research they put into the show. I didn't read up on what might happen or any of that like before watching season 2 because, again, I don't want to be spoiled. And I kept thinking that he would go down for this rape. Like, I was so excited when they ended up arresting him on the court steps, you know. I was like, he is going to pay for this. I was stupidly thinking that he was going to pay for it. And he didn't. What did he get? Like, probation? To me, that was one of the saddest parts of the show. Lauren says, Bryce and Montgomery were the worst. Yes, that Montgomery guy, can't stand him either. He needs to pay. Oh my God, I feel like a crazy person saying this, but they make me like, you know, I mean, you guys know probably this show and other shows, like I physically get like anxious, like anxiety, because the people are so mean that it's like real to me. Like I'm just like, we have to stop them, even though it's totally acting. That's how good these people are, you know? Jake says, was anyone else dying at the group hug dancing to Hannah and Clay's song? Yes. And by the way, if you have Spotify, you can add that song to your Spotify account or whatever you listen to, SoundCloud, Pandora. But I have like the Spotify Premium or whatever it's called. So I have that song from the dance. I don't know what it is, like off the top of my head, but I have that on my Spotify now. So I can listen to it whenever and like be depressed because it's such a sad song. But that was a hard scene too. So to wrap up my thoughts, overall, I liked it. Some things that were added made me mad. I do have a lot of thoughts about a season 3. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to wrap this up here with you guys. I'm going to sit down and do a video and actually do a sit down video. Ralph says, doesn't matter, Bryce got away with it. There's always someone who eventually give Bryce his. These things take time. And that's what I was trying to say. The Night We Met is that song. It's really good. And that's what I was saying, because as real life as it is that people get away with terrible things, it's also super real life that karma catches up with people and people pay. Could be something totally different. You know, I'm not saying, obviously this is fictional, but sometimes people do one thing to a person, and then they get away with crap forever and ever and ever, and then they do something to some other person who was not involved with these other people, and they get caught on that, okay? And sometimes they get caught on that, and it's really bad, and it might have been way worse than what they did to you, or whatever it was. I've seen it happen so much throughout life. So, yeah, Bryce is getting away with a lot of stuff now, but hopefully we'll get to a point in the show, if it keeps going on, where things catch up with him. And he may never get, you know, have to pay directly for what he did to Hannah and other people, but it'll be some other offense. You know, that's usually how it happens. It's like someone does something illegal like 10 years ago involving one thing, but they get caught because they think, well, I'm going to keep getting away with this. I can do whatever. So they keep doing illegal things, or they keep raping people, or they keep doing whatever deviant behaviors that they're doing. Sonia, Alexa's bringing up the lawyer for the who represented the school. Could not stand that woman. Another new character who had a really big part in this season. And she said, Alexa says she needs to pay. I hated her. I guess she was just doing her job, but she did really annoy me. She bothered me a lot. Ralph says the ending of New Jack City, when the villain got taken out by a little lady with a gun. I've never seen that movie, but that's okay. You're not spoiling me. It's fine. But yeah, it just really, to me, that is as real as we can be. And I think, thankfully, there is justice in the world. It just doesn't always come when you think it will. And I hope that since this show tries to be super real life, that they'll show that part of life, that, yeah, you can get away with stuff for a really, 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 really long time. But if you never learn, you never, you know, ask for forgiveness, basically try to become a better person, redeem yourself, you will get caught. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be a year, but you will get caught and you will have to pay. That's my little sermon for today. It's like, it's true. So if you're doing terrible things, stop doing it. You know, realize it's wrong. Stop doing it. Become a better person, and just hope that karma doesn't get you in the future, I guess. Solomon says, you hated that Bryce's dad refused to believe the truth. I felt like that was very realistic too. And I also think that, you know, his mom was like, oh God, I think stuff is going down, but she never really pushed it. She kind of just was like, I feel like things are going down, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I felt like that was super real, you know? I just think it was real. I don't know. You guys, we all live in the real world. I'm sure there were people at your school that, you know, had the situation Bryce had or something similar. Like, it seems to always be the people. And it doesn't mean that if you have money and whatever that you're raping people or you're a terrible person. But a lot of times it's the people who are like the popular people, who are the athletes, who have a lot of money and who are not nice people and who are doing crappy things. And they keep getting away with stuff because either the fact that they're influential, you know, in the town, or their family's influential, or people are paying people off, or whatever. People are afraid to reprimand those people. And I think that's really real. And I went to school in a tiny town, and I'm in Kentucky, and I went to school in a tiny town, and I don't think that people were traveling to Italy and everything else who I was in high school with, like Bryce's family. But I definitely think that was real. I'm not talking about like people raping people. I'm just saying I think that there was definitely preferential treatment for people who came from influential families or families with a lot of money. They seem to get away with stuff that other people couldn't get away with, which means like, you know, being disrespectful to teachers or acting crazy and doing stupid things at school that other people would get like detention or expelled, but they had really no consequences. Ralph says you dislike Clay due to the way he handles situations. He's very selfish and self-centered and constantly tells people how to act and live. I don't really hate him on that level, but yeah, at the same time I could say he's kind of like, he's really immature too. But no, I get what you're saying. He kind of bothers me. He kind of drives me crazy too. I don't dislike him though, but he kind of bothers me. Okay, so I'm going to make this video now, and I'm hoping to get it up tonight. Seriously, if I don't do it right now, I'll put it off and never do it. But thank you so much for everyone who came, even though this has been out for a little while, the show, the second season. I really appreciate you guys being here, and it was so much fun. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it in this format before sitting down to do a video. Thank you again. I want to get back on schedule next week with my Westworld video so I can talk about the episodes that I have not talked to you guys about for those of you who watch. And I also want to talk to you guys about American Horror Story because it was announced that this year's theme is the Coven Murder House crossover, which is so exciting. Two of my very favorite seasons. I'm so happy for that. But we'll have to save that for another day because people are here for this show today. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys, yeah, so Westworld, let's do that chat Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern, like I originally said we were going to do. We'll try to get back to that. And I need to do a chat like next week or a video or something about the American Horror Story announcement because that's just everything. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to this and just for always being supportive of me. I've got to do this video. I have to sit down and do this video about this show or I will never do it. I know, but I have to do it because I want to do my thoughts on season 3. But thank you for being here and like for being patient with me as this year has been crazy and I'm not consistent and I want to be. So I'm trying. I really am trying. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye.